Good evening, Whiskey India Tango. Tonight we're going to go over lesson 2 of metabolic precision. And if you didn't watch last week's lesson, I'd encourage you to go back and have a look. There's some gold nuggets in there. Mainly this is for our online transformation clients who have just started week 1, week 2 of their first program of the year. And the content within this program that I'm delivering into our group is just a little bit more of a push along, so to speak. So you'll get some information from here that you may have missed when you read articles or did tasks. And by the end of it, the whole idea will be that you start piecing things together, because there's a lot here. There's a lot to learn, and it can get quite overwhelming. So the whole idea, hey Amy, how you going? The whole idea is to slowly introduce different parts of the program to you and allow you to slowly integrate it into your own lifestyle and basically make your own version of this. Because if you don't, it's just another program that you'll try to do. So the whole reason me and Megan coach the program, the whole reason there is a coach with this program is for that personalized feedback. So enjoy this week's lesson. I'm not going to be able to answer questions live, but please, if you do have questions, pop them in, write a comment. I'll get back to them as I can after this broadcast. So without further ado, let's get started now. All right, so welcome to week 2. Today's lesson is about exercise and how to create a highly effective exercise program using less than 3% of your week. Most people are doing really well if they can find that kind of time to devote to the gym. Some people can't even find that time to devote to the gym. So rather than tell you what you should be doing, our whole aim is to re-educate you, give you the tools, give you the strategies for you to make your own decisions, empower you to create your own path and get the results that you want and get the results that you can sustain. So this isn't about marathon workouts. It's not about exercising every day or twice a day and seeing how great you are. It's about finding out exactly what you can do and keep up for the rest of your life. With that said, we're going to talk about cardio and the difference between fitness and fat loss, to make sure you're doing cardio the right way, whether that is for fitness or whether it is for fat loss. See, the problem with a lot of people is they head into the gym with no plan. They start doing a couple of things over on the rower or on the treadmill, and then all of a sudden their emotions dictate the entire session and nothing really is achieved other than a sweaty pile of mess. And finally, we're going to try and quantify this exercise thing, give you a tool that you can use so that you know you're exercising enough, but not only enough, that you're not over-exercising as well, because body shape changes do not occur in a nutrient-deficient, overtrained body. No matter what you hear on social media or anywhere else, body shapes will not change unless you're adequately fueled and you're recovering enough. So this tool that I'm going to introduce you will make sure you're doing those things. So the first type of exercise I'm going to talk about today is what we call FIRE. It's an acronym, and basically it stands for Focused Intense Resistance Exercise. Now, this isn't just going into the gym and picking up barbells and dumbbells. This is going into the gym with a plan. We're still lifting barbells and dumbbells. However, the sets are planned, the reps are planned, every exercise is planned. As I've spoken about in last week's lesson, muscle mass matters. So we know this. We know that muscle mass contributes to a large portion of the daily energy we expend. Okay, so the calories that we metabolize every single day, muscle contributes to 66% of that. So it's a large amount. What we also know is that muscle mass goes as we age. So it depreciates, just like a bank account would if you keep spending money and you don't top it up. Muscle mass degrades and essentially you lose it over time. In fact, a healthy Australian adult could lose up to 2.5 kilos of muscle mass every decade after 30. And that 2.5 kilos of muscle mass can be replaced by 5 kilos of body fat. Now, this is on average. This is for a healthy Australian adult. It doesn't include people with chronic conditions, people who don't take care of themselves, yada, yada, yada. So that's just an average. It could be worse. So the older you are, the more important fire becomes. It's not the other way around. And unfortunately, we seem to have this picture in our heads when we think about weights of young boys in their singlets checking themselves out in the mirror, and only being important if you're, looking for a member of the opposite sex or the same sex, whichever way you're inclined. As you get older, hormones start to downregulate, and the ability to maintain muscle mass also downregulates. So the older you are, the more important that fire becomes, because of what that fire does is it upregulates those hormones. It teaches your body to act as if it were younger, which is pretty cool, right? It's the fountain of youth. Now, fire is the only non-surgical way to change your body shape. Like I said at the start of this lesson, this isn't just going in and lifting dumbbells and barbells and using cable machines or hopping on the abductor machine and squeezing your legs together. This is a lot more focused than just that. This is using barbells and dumbbells, sets and reps, and progressively striving to increase the weight as you go on. So every week, whether you're performing that exercise better, or adding a couple of reps to that exercise, or a couple of kilos, 1 to 2 kilos, every single week you need to strive for improvement. And this is what builds muscle mass. It's not circuits, it's not unplanned exercise regimes in the gym. It's structured and it's focused. The next type of exercise we'll go over is cardio. So what we're going to talk about now is whether or not you're using cardio in the right way. Think about the runner who maybe you've experienced this. You've gone for a run, whether it be a 5K run, a park run. The first time you do it in a while, you run and you're really tired, you're sweating bullets, and afterwards you're really sore. Your calves are tight, you're walking around like a duck. But if you consistently complete that 5 kilometers at parkrun every Saturday, time and time again, what tends to happen is your body adapts to it. Am I right? So your body adapts to it, it gets fitter. You can go faster and you can use less energy to complete the same amount of exercise. Now, this is a very important concept because fat loss depends on calorie expenditure and burning as many calories as you possibly can in the shortest possible time. If we're getting fitter and we're completing the same exercise over and over and over again, that our body uses less energy and therefore less body fat. So ice training is a little bit different to training for fitness. Don't get me wrong, fitness training does have its place, and fitness training can complement ice training very well. What fitness training can do is it actually increases the potential for fat burn, just like fire would. It would increase the potential for fat burn. But ice training has a very specific place in a body transformation program. It's not used overzealously. It's actually used very sparingly. And it's a potent fat loss weapon. So when you constantly change the stimulus on the body, when you constantly change the exercises up, the way those exercises are performed, the intensity, what tends to happen is your body is kept guessing. Your body never really gets fit for that type of exercise. Now, you're not tricking your body in any way. Don't take it out of context. You're not trying to trick your body. What you're trying to do is you're just trying to challenge your body in every single possible way you can. Now, ice training, it fits in very sparingly, like I said before. Once, twice a week, sometimes 3 if there's no other forms of exercise you complete. So there'll be people who start out and they will do 3 or 4 ice sessions a week, okay? But as you start to introduce other forms of exercise, ice tends to take a little bit of a back step, right up until a point where I'll show you later on with some examples where some people don't even need to do ice to get even leaner, which is pretty cool. So the MP 10-point system is the tool that I'm introducing to you now. What the MP 10-point system does is it ensures that you complete just the right amount of exercise. So you're not over-exercising, you're not under-exercising. What's really important to note here is the fact that when you start a program like this and you adhere to a point system, what you need to do is you need to start to either bring your exercise back to that 10 points per week if you're over-exercising now, or bring your exercise points up to 10 points. So some people watching this lesson right now may be doing copious amounts of exercise, twice a day training, 7 days a week, and that's okay for now. But understand that if you're not nutritionally fueling that kind of effort, your body shape changes will store, and that's probably why you're doing this course. You're doing this course right now because your body shape changes aren't reflective of the amount of work you're putting in the gym. So it's even more important for you guys than it is for the people who are under-exercising. It's even more important for you guys who are over-exercising to bring your points back. Bring it back to 10. This doesn't mean you're going to do this forever, but it's a starting point, because if you're already maxing out with the amount of exercise you can do right now, there is nowhere to go. There's no way we can increase and maximize your results with exercise. So if you're watching this right now, you're over-exercising, bring your exercise points back gradually, and I'll show you how to do this later, but bring them back gradually to the 10 points. If you're under-exercising right now, you still need to take that slow, gradual approach to increasing your exercise. But the end goal is to get to that 10 points mark. So let's take a look at the points and what gets what. Resistance exercise equals 3 points. The reason for that is so the metabolic toll on the body from something like resistance exercise is quite large. Therefore, you need to recover a lot more than you would if you're doing something like ice training or LIA. So resistance exercise gets 3 points. Now, don't be fooled. Just because it gets 3 points doesn't mean it's any better than ice training or LIA. This is just reflective of the metabolic toll. Ice training gets 2 points. Now, both of these forms of exercise are intense exercise sessions. The only non or low intense exercise activity we're going to talk about is LIA. Now, low intense activity, it doesn't mean going for a stroll, but it does mean moving. It means moving a little less intense than the ice training itself. So this could be Pilates, yoga, swimming, cycling, even going for a 5K jog for some people would be classified as an LIA session. The main difference between ice and LIA is ice, you hit that breathless point, that feeling of, I want to be somewhere else but not here, that kind of feeling. That feeling of, hell, when you're really, middle of the session and you feel like your brain's about to explode. That's ice. Anything lower than that is LIA. All right, so we've got Kerry Lee as our first example for an exercise program. Now, today I want to show you a very dynamic or very broad view. I don't want to show you high-level stuff and no low-level stuff. I want you to see people at different stages throughout their body transformation. And the really cool thing about Kerry Lee here is Kerry's got a fantastic result through using less than 10 points. Okay, so, and she wasn't even consistent with some of this, Megan tells me. So the cool thing here is Kerry does 2 to 3 ice workouts per week. If there are weeks or days where she's been up all night with a baby or she's feeling tired, lethargic, she'll quite happily miss a session and not try and make that up. So that's an important fact there. There's a reason why you're tired. Doing something that will make you more tired won't achieve anything body shape wise or health wise or energy wise. And remember, we've got to tee those 3 things up. So that's a really cool starting point for you. And now Kerry's obviously got a lot of room to move, which means there's a lot of potential for more results later on down the track. If Kerry was maxing out right now and if she was tired, if she was hauling ass, then it would be very hard to progress her. So they've done well. Megan and Kerry have done really well to start off small and very slowly, gradually add more exercise. The man, Jack Nesbitt, my man. All right, so Jack is more progressed, obviously. So he's a trainer himself. He's already quite fit. As you can see here, his points don't really change. Now, this is his last 12 weeks of the 6-month transformation. We didn't change much because it was working. And quite frankly, there's no reason to change anything if it's working. So this is a good example of finding something that works and continuing with it. And Jack completed 3 fire sessions per week. 2, was there 2 ice? No. 1 ice and 3 LIA sessions per week. Pretty cool result. Ruth Bateman, again, was fit before she came to us. Had to go through the ringer a little bit to find her way, but she eventually found her way, and this is a 12-week result. The last 12 weeks she spent with us, she achieved quite a bit. This is her exercise program, and as you can see there, she has 1 ice, 3 fire, and 2 LIA in the first 4 weeks. There's a typo here. She actually went to 14 points in weeks 5 to 8 and 9 to 12. So she was doing 2 ice sessions per week as she progressed. This is Megan's transformation. Now, Megan's another one who's quite remarkable in the way that she didn't do copious amounts of exercise to get a fantastic result. This is consistency at its finest. Over 24 months, her program changed slightly, but never too much. And in the last 12 weeks, this is what she did. She did 4 fire and 1 LIA. And as you can see there, there's no ice. That ice just wasn't agreeing with Megan at the time with her chronic fatigue, and she got fairly lean without having to use ice. So another great result. And finally, myself. This is high end. So this is something that I couldn't keep up for too long, and I didn't need to really. This was the last 12 weeks where I was completing 17.5 points of exercise per week. Now these were 5 fire sessions a week and 5 LIA sessions, but the LIA sessions were a little bit more intense than you would imagine. This was running stairs, but at a consistent pace. Okay. So this week's action step is to not worry about what others are doing in terms of their exercise, but start to take notice of your own exercise and your own activity levels. Some of you may already work active jobs, so therefore you'll be doing LIA every single day. What you'll find is if you're trying to smash it out at the gym and you've been active all day at work, your gym session will come off second best. So the action step is to record the exercise and activity you're currently performing based on the exercise definitions provided earlier. So in the top column or top row, you've got phase 1, weeks 1 to 4. In these 4 weeks, these first 4 weeks, don't change your exercise too much. If you found a routine, stick to that routine, and let's start to measure what that routine does for you. In the following weeks, so phase 2, weeks 5 to 8, and phase 3, 9 to 12, start to either reduce your points gradually if you are over-exercising or increase your points gradually if you're under-exercising. By the end of this program, of this challenge, your goal is to get to 10 exercise points only. This will provide a foundation for you to jump off of and work off of in your following program when you're a little bit more accountable and you're recording more data. But for now, we're going through a re-education process where you're going to start to learn more about nutrition and start to implement more nutritional guidelines. So the focus here is balancing the exercise and the nutrition, finding parity between those two. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. As always, if there's any questions, email them through to me. And I'll see you next week for lesson 3. Thanks for tuning in, Whiskey India Tango. Again, any questions, pop them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to them as I go. I'll see you next Monday night for lesson 3. Bye for now.